and him denying the request for the Franks hearing. He found that these law enforcement officers, in his estimation, he found them credible. He didn't feel like they were making reckless or intentional misstatements. And he didn't feel really, this is really important because a lot of people were like, oh my God, after the last hearing, and Ann Taylor was saying that, DM, the surviving roommate, was saying she couldn't tell if she was, what she saw was a dream, and she was kind of doubting herself, and she was intoxicated that night. The judge is coming out and saying, look, her statements, her 3 interviews were remarkably consistent. And she's saying these things, but they didn't need to provide that as exculpatory information in an affidavit. They basically were honest in these affidavits, according to what he believes. So he's saying, look, just because she couldn't identify him in a lineup or through his mugshot because he was wearing a mask, he's like, of course she couldn't identify him. He was wearing a mask, the guy that she saw. That's of no consequence. So your thoughts on him denying the request for a Franks hearing, because the defense really kind of went after DM and said, look, they should have said, she's saying she didn't know if this was a dream or not. But he's saying her interviews were consistent with law enforcement, all of those interviews.
Well, there are 2 important legal points. Number one, whatever inconsistent statement she gave or whatever fuzziness there may have been in her recollections are great fodder for cross-examination should she testify at trial. And you can impeach her credibility with her drunkenness at the time, or maybe she was hung over after the fact, that kind of thing. But most important, and constitutionally, that if you sever all the statements that law enforcement relayed in the affidavit of probable cause about what, if anything, she relayed, there was still enough in the affidavit to show probable cause. So, and the court found that even assuming there were inconsistencies or falsities, if you will, as to what she may have said, it didn't rise to the level of constitutional outrageousness to say that this was knowing and intentionally reckless. So the court found, no, you didn't meet your burden under the totality of the circumstances. There is ample probable cause.